So this is properly working, I think. And hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Back to the podcast version. And this time what I'm maybe I at first maybe in this episode I should tell you what I'm going what I'm well not what I'm going to talk about, but actually the field I'm going to talk about, which means so there are many there are many fields of studies in this world, for example, so politics and, for example, chemistry or pharmacy or how should I say, and another branch of sciences is, for example, biology or human societies or history, and it's possible to ramify human history into into many parts. For example, the historical part, the historical time of medieval era, or modernized era, or it's possible to ramify history into such categories, which is what I'm saying. And, for example, another one is, construction, or constructing engineering, or mechanical engineering, and so electricity, or or electrons. There are many fields of studies, or studying, or if you are university students, it's fine to imagine what you major in. Yes. So, for example, if you major in artistic works, it's fine. That is a field of studies, or that is a field of study in your case. And and so and this time is about economy. So I didn't speak out this word, because I wanted to insert this introductory phase into this episode. So it is why, and I almost said, and in the manner of the pronunciation of my mother tongue. And by the way, my mother tongue is Japanese. So pronouncing and in Japanese manner, that is and maybe. So, but actually, the correct pronunciation of English, in the case of it, correct pronunciation of and is and, or and I think both of them are fine, actually. I think. But actually, if you have some friends of native speakers of English language, I mean, if you have some friends who speak English natively, so you should ask them whether what is the correct pronunciation of and anyway. So this is about economy. So this episode is about economy, and so that I should tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode this time. Wait a moment, please. So, isn't this working? Wait a moment, please. This is working. Well, the title is The Stupid People, and the conclusion is this country has the lowest interest rate in this world, and the government hasn't a plan to raise the rate. And this is about the policy interest rate. This is about the policy interest rate, which is the rate which is the interest rate I'm going to talk about. So, but bank has each bank has its own interest rate when it comes to lends their money for the borrowers, or for the people, for example, who'd like to loan for for purchasing their own houses. That type of loan is a typical loan for the general public. And so, but actually, in the case of the people living in London, and Tokyo, or other, in the case of the people living in those urbanized cities, so the young people can some of young people young the young generations can't purchase. I mean, some young generations, or some young people can't purchase their own houses, because the prices of not electronics, but the prices of real estate are really high, which is why they can't loan for buying, or for purchasing their own houses. and for their own tenements actually. So which is why, so this is the case of my country, and this is one of the, I think this is one of the reasons why this country doesn't, why this country hasn't been able to, so raise the political, not the political, but the policy interest rate of this country. And but actually, so in this situation, so it's necessary to raise the policy interest rate, but actually my country hasn't been able to raise that rate, and that is one of the reasons is that this 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 company is not doing well economically well in the field of economy. And to start with, this country has a declining population, and which is a case to other for example other European countries. And but actually, so European countries or European Union laws, European Union could raise the interest rate of their own central bank. And in the case of my country, so did I get mingled up with rise and raise? So my country can't raise the policy interest rate, which is what I'm saying. And but actually, so which is why, so the interest rate of my country has not risen. And but actually, so in European Union, the interest rate has risen, and which is because European Union could raise the policy interest rate of European of the entire Europe, which is a really I used, or I described that relationships of between the verb rise and the verb raise, and that's it. So I should speak out the Chinese part of the title of this episode. Wait a moment, please. So let me take your time for briefly again. And the Chinese title reads:人们是没有从过去学习能力的。I'm going to pronounce it again. 人们是没有从过去学习能力的。This means, so at least I wrote in the sense that the people who do not have ability to learn from the past. I'm going to tell you the translation again. So the translation of the Chinese title is: the people who do not have ability to learn from the past. And and those people are, of course, those people are Japanese people, and maybe such people may live in your country. And in the case of my country, so the superiors in the government of my country, they are really conservative, and they are really, so they'd like to maybe, they hate changes, or they don't want to raise the interest rate, because they are afraid of getting blamed for the drop of economy in this country. And to start with, so this country had really low interest rates in the case of the banks in my country. But actually, so smaller number of people bought, maybe fairly smaller number of people bought the real estate. That is because so of course comparing the number of the people who bought real estate in my country, and with the people who bought real estate, for example, in some European countries, so my country, the number of my country is fairly large, I think. But actually, so this country has, as I have told you needs before, this country has rapidly dropping population. So which is why people are reluctant to invest in Japanese companies, including Japanese real estates. So which is why this is a trend, or this is a fact in the investment of the local people in my country, that they invest their money in the huge companies, or in the companies of other countries. I mean, those other countries are developed countries, not developing countries, and which is a test in this country. And so why I wrote that, there are many people who do not learn from the past, is that this country has many proverbs, and most of them are derived from China. The China is the mainland China, which is controlled and governed by Xi Jinping, or the president of China. And that, how should I say, not is that the autocracy, or not aristocracy, or that is the autocracy, or you know so dictate. That country is heading for a kind of, or that country has introduced into their countries some kind of dictatorship. The president is the king, and everybody has to his order, which is a situation of mainland China, roughly saying. And my country has many proverbs, which are derived from such a country. And of course, so it present the incumbent China is a fairly younger country, but actually, the duration image that presents China has existed, is 50 or 60 years. That country was created after the World War II, but actually, those countries of Han people, including countries, which had governed the continental China, and which had been controlled by other people, had had long histories. And for example, in the ancient time, one of the oldest civilization was created in the continental China, or in the mainland China. And which is why, this country has introduced many proverbs into this country from China. And but actually, this country hasn't been able to learn from the past. But actually, of course, this country has many smart people who can learn from the past. But actually, as the entire people, as the whole people, this country that doesn't have an ability to learn from the past. And which is why, this country is dependent on, for example, in this present time. And I'm creating this episode in the end of May, in the end of May in 2023. And but actually, this country is completely dependent on the performance of the United States of America. But in the past, before the modernization of this country had been dependent on the mainland China. And which is how this country has been able to survive from the past to this present time. But actually, the strongest country is changing from the United States to the mainland China. And which is why, in this situation, but actually, this country has to follow a larger country. So which is why, this country is still poor, and the future of this country is not so bright. And this can be the case to some European countries. For example, East European countries may not have bright futures. So And at last, I'm going to end this episode. And by the way, and I'm going to tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode earlier on. And the title is The Stupid People, 人们是没有从过去学习能力的, and the people who do not have ability to learn from the past. And the conclusion is this country has the lowest interest rate in the world, and the government hasn't a plan to raise the rate. And at last, I'm going to tell you the interest rate of this country, and the interest rate is minus 0.1, and other countries have the policy interest rates larger than zero, and among rich countries, the second lowest interest rate is Switzerland, and Switzerland has 1.5 in the policy interest rate, and the third smallest one is Taiwan, which has 1.88 for in this present time, and the fourth one is Denmark. Denmark has 2.6 in the policy interest rate. And by the way, Thailand has 1.75. I don't know whether this is a rich country or not. Maybe this is an emerging country. Thailand is an emerging country, I think. And South Korea has 3.5 in the policy interest rate. And in the case of United Kingdom has 4.5, and the European Union has, wait a moment please, Euro area has 3.75, and the mainland China has 3.65 in the policy interest rate, and in the case of the United States of America, United States has 5.25, which is the same as that of New Zealand. And anyway, this is all actually. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you. So actually, I made a mistake in the use of the verb loan, and I take that in a dictionary that the meaning of the verb loan is to lend money, to lend for those who'd like to, for example, purchase their own houses, which is a typical example in the case of buying houses, and which is why so bank loans people who want to buy their own houses, which is why so so in the case of urbanized areas, and the typical examples are London and Tokyo, and in those cities, which means so in which many young people hadn't been able to be loaned. Many people have not been able to be loaned. And this is a real usage of English language, but actually people anyway, so simply saying, maybe the situation is that young people can't borrow loans for buying houses, which is because their incomes are low. And I found another mistake, which is the pronunciation of reason. So reason is a past particle of rise, and I mistakenly pronounced reason as the past particle of the verb rise. But actually, so the correct pronunciation of the past particle of rise is reason, not reason.